Cheer for LiquidJinro and aTnSocke from Alternate Attacks.
Oh yeah, so excited as we get the countdown going. First map is going to be Metalopolis. If the last matchup we saw between QHC and Sen was any sort of indication of the caliber of matches that we're going to be seeing, these are only going to be getting better from here. I don't know if my brain and the veins on my forehead are going to be able to handle it today, but I'll do my best.
I know, even when I rewatched the replays of Drewby against Socke, I had multiple aneurysms because it was just so awesome. So the game is apparently started in its cross positions. We already have a long game ahead of us. We have Socke as the red Protoss, the higher seeded Protoss, as he does have that third place rank point from Raleigh, and we have LiquidJinro on the left as the blue Terran.
And even though Jinro came into this competition as a new player, thus not necessarily being signed a seed, he's meeting Socke at about the place where you're going to start seeing the better players meet. So, I mean, it's fortunate that this was a third winner bracket match versus like a first or second here.
It's kind of funny the way that happens so quickly. I mean, the typical path for one of your top-seeded pros is bye, probably a somewhat new player, and then impossible in round 3. And it's only going to remain absolutely impossible. I mean, whoever wins this tournament is going to have quite an achievement under their belt. As again, best of the best from around the world.
You obviously had some things to say. Impressed with the play of Socke. Maybe you can give us a little insight. Some of the more typical build orders he likes to go with. Some of the styles that he likes to play with. Anything that you want to sort of throw out on the table, maybe we should be watching for.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and dodge the build order part and talk more about his later games.
Okay.
He just does funky things like places pylons in lines on either side of the map. And then he, of course, walks void arrays, cross-map, boosting them on those pylons the entire time. And whenever the Terran player begins pushing one set of pylons, even though he'll lose one or two, he'll warp in 15 gateways worth of units on the other side and just counterattack. It's very, very unorthodox. He has a wide variety of styles under his belt and is more than comfortable incorporating motherships, carriers, Templar, all those units that people are avoiding because they're too busy building Colossi.
And it goes back again to what we said about every Protoss is just a little bit different. They're kind of like snowflakes. They don't really necessarily play the same. They always have tiny deviations. And again, I love it when players really start to discover the true power of the Protoss race.
And we do see both players doing very, very typical builds. Socke going Gateway Cybernetics Core very quickly. Jinro, of course, trying to pick off this pro, but it manages to escape in time. There is the orbital command popping out for Jinro. Is building a supply depot back here. In my eyes, that says he wants to get a factory somewhat quickly. And it looks like this might actually be one of the first games where we do see someone get a very fast factory, but Jinro is actually not doing anything yet.
We'll find out here momentarily. Over on the other side, we've got the Psycore just now finishing. We did get, we're going to have a Zealot coming out of that gateway first, and then a Stalker. And then we also have Warp Gate being researched as he continues the probe production. And has left this probe out here. Socke has left this probe out here just to make sure no move out.
Which is a little bit surprising, and then saved up enough money to get the orbital command, and then immediately getting the tech lab on that barracks. A little bit of a rearrangement of your typical fast expand, but as usual, getting the Marauder and the concussive shell to be stalker proof at the start of the game, and we'll likely be adding on a bunch more barracks.
Got the one Stalker out along with the Zealot. Second Stalker coming from Socke right now. And, of course, he's just going to continue to pump out those early units while Warp Gate will finish here. It's about 50% done right now. Probe has moved over. Socke being active with that, checking out the expansion. He is going to get taken out here by this Marine and this Marauder. And maybe the Probe will sneak away. It looks like he will. Command Center almost completed here. Probe going away. And now already we've got Socke moving forward, or at least wanting to show a little bit of a threatening presence here on this map.
Very typical fast expand opening. Zealot and two Stalkers straight into that Nexus, throwing that down around 30 food. No second gas. Now we see multiple gateways going down. It looks like Socke is going to be defending that expansion largely with Zealots and Stalkers, and at the same time, Jinro getting a delay Reaper, a very common technique. If you delay the Reaper a little bit, that's when your opponent starts to build the tech, and that's when you want to pop into his base for the scout. And as usual, going to be able to pick off any scouting probes with a friendly Reaper.
So doing some additional scouting, just make sure that nothing coming out from Jinro that maybe would be a little unexpected, and always like to see that additional scouting, keeping active on the map. He almost spots this Reaper as he goes through, but Jinro will slip him into the third base and around to the expansion. There's not much there yet, but he will at least scout that. Of course, with that Nexus being there, he also, I believe, is going to see that Reaper, and there he should. So he's going to try to go around the backside. There is a Stalker just waiting there for him. He's going to go in, see not that much back there than what he'd seen before.
He would have liked to see that robotics facility. Not a big indicator of what's to come, but at least gives him a sense of what's going on. Very nice little unit mix going down by Socke, as he does have his second gas geyser. Meanwhile, back in Jinro land, he's finally added on another tech lab. He is almost done with stim, got an extremely fast stim, and there is the reactor going down as well. Another gas geyser. His expansion is currently up, and oh no, is he getting supply blocked? Ooh, definitely not something you want to have happen this early. And it looks like he is going for more of the Korean style, much faster starport, as opposed to the more American server style, which is to figure out how many barracks you can actually build.
And there are 3 barracks up. As you mentioned, that supply block coming in big. Units trying to get pumped out of there, but cannot. And we are going to have Marauder Marine Force move out to the Zelnaga Tower, or at least collect things out. And look at this, Jinro taking gold here pretty early. Feels comfortable, I suppose, and may just plan to set up a contain here. And this observer is going to float right over, and hello.
Well, I really think that this is a big influence because Jinro did get supply blocked, and he has supply blocked twice in a row at 46 and then at 54 and now here at 62. Just can't quite keep up with that supply depot production. There's the very fast starport. There's another depot going down, but it's not going to be fast enough. Uh-oh, Jinro needs to notice. Oh, no, he's going to try to run away, and he gets one force field, only loses 1 Marine, so very nice response by Jinro, but he's likely going to have to cancel this command center as there is a big spread of units invading right now.
He's also got an Immortal now, trailing a little bit behind because of their speed, but he is making it over. Takes out that SCV, building the command center. Immortal is in full effect. There's still some energy left on the sentries to be able to throw down some force fields, which will be crucial here with these positioning. He's going to at least split the army, and well, he'll split his own as well, using that to kind of bait off to the side. Jinro does know, or excuse me, Socke now has control at least of his center area. No gold expansion going up.
Some very nice micro by Jinro right there, but again, the double supply block did hurt him quite a bit. And now we see Socke continuing to warp in units, and interestingly, getting a robotics facility. Who'd have thought? Looks like Protosses are into the Colossus these days, but that one Immortal is actually going to be quite huge considering how many Marauders your average Terran wants to be getting at this phase in the game. 4th gas finally going down now for Socke. He does have 4 warp gates up at this point in time, is building yet another pylon, and in the meantime it looks like Socke has scouted out all these Marines and Marauders. There's more tech labs going down. I really think that there should be a few more Marines in this mix, but either way Jinro is getting a medevac now and will begin the mass medevac production.
Alright, switching up those production buildings right there, and he's going to scan for the observer. Take that out. We've got extended thermal lance going down with the first Colossus in production. More Marines and Marauders coming out. You can see a 3rd being built here, and oh my gosh, Jinro just surfed right past it. Here he's going to go down and see what's going on, and he says hello to a 3rd base, while the 3rd is going up over on Jinro's side as well.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, this is a little technique Select was using very nicely, just bringing about 5 or 6 Marines and Marauders to the left flank and then pushing up the north flank. Splits up the Protoss units, and just a small amount of Marine Marauders can obviously rip through probes very quickly and, of course, kill off the Nexus, but here comes a drop by Jinro, and this is always the danger of getting Colossus a little too fast, is that you're low on Stalkers. It makes it very dangerous to deal with these medevacs, but oh no, Jinro not paying attention, and does escape. 20 life left on that medevac. A narrow escape, but of course Jinro being very good with the unit movement, heading towards the south side.
Yeah, he saw it with that observer and was very quick to react, but right now Jinro having a different plan of attack here. That first attack didn't work in conjunction with that, it would have been phenomenal, but he is going to move in here, and this third is almost finished.
Oh no, is he going to get the cancel in time? Oh no, Jinro would have actually loved to pick off that Nexus, but at the same time, Jinro did a lot of very smart tactical move-aroundery. He just sent this Marine up, stimmed it just to see if his flank was protected, and it was. There are more Marauders churning out. Most importantly of all, there are these medevacs in production. He did pull back with this one weakened medevac and has to be wary to keep that alive, but right now Jinro is slowly pulling ahead in the economy lead.
He's got a couple of ghosts coming out, +1 weapons as well. Both armies now moving, try to get a better position. And of course, Jinro moving back towards his base while we see Socke really trying to move forward here. He's going to take that Xel'Naga tower again, see the army that is in front of him, and regroup with the rest of the units that he's got. Another dropship going out, which will be interesting. If he could try to get this before an attack comes, may force the army to come back, but we'll see what happens. He's still got a Stalker and those pylons for vision.
I am so impressed with the way that Jinro is moving this army around, really making the Colossus feel more like a liability. I mean, as Og showed in the very first game we casted yesterday, Colossi are almost impossible to deal with when there are 5 or 6 of them, but because they are slow and your whole army has to travel with them, that is a sacrifice you must make, and it is much harder to deal with these sorts of drops. And the double forge by Socke, and Jinro lifts up after doing some guaranteed damage, and oh!
No, he went back to get the Marine. We can't leave Billy behind, and as a result, the medevac goes down, and Billy was lost too. So
Billy was embarrassingly enough not worth it for Jinro. Should have left that guy behind. We never liked him much anyways. And at the same time, it looks like Jinro is scooting up the north and south side at the same time, splitting his own army in half voluntarily, setting himself up, even having some ghosts up on the north side. And there's Socke's increasingly large army in the resource counting station. We see that Jinro is about keeping up, leaving a small force, about 6 units there, and needs to be very careful. Even Socke is spreading up his units quite well, and it looks like he might get himself a little bit isolated. Jinro needs to have a little bit more focus, but at the same time, there's a push up here. Oh, the statue explodes, and the ghost from behind does manage to get off 1 EMP, but this is an extremely intimidating force by Socke.
Yeah, it didn't hit a whole lot of units either. He did manage to get a little bit of damage done down here at the base, but nothing significant, nothing game-changing right there, and now we've got Socke in the exact opposite position. He is going to go neck and neck with this planetary fortress, instead taking out that refinery going up and using that long distance range. Planetary fortress like, please just take a couple steps forward. We still got some ghosts. Oh no, ghost fried. Did get another EMP off a few units. That we did have energy drain from the sentry, but he's going to probably take this out.
And there's the stim. He's trying to throw down some force fields. All he wants is the planetary fortress. The planetary fortress will stay alive. Jinro getting somewhat of a good arc and is just annihilating all those gateway units. Look at that amazing arc, and is just slamming back this gigantic army. I had no idea that Jinro was going to be able to pull that off. Entirely honestly, I thought that Socke was going to be able to end the game right there, but of course Jinro, with that amazing positioning, the incredible patience where he waited until the exact right moment and then crushed, and Socke, amazingly enough, has another army left over.
Those Vikings coming in huge right there, getting some initial shots off. Now these 3 lone Colossi, they don't have a whole lot of gateway units to support, so if we were to see an accelerated attack here by Jinro on this gold, which looks like it might be what happens, he's going to split his units again, try to attack from the front. Where are those Vikings to help out in this particular situation? Here they come from the side, but they will be targeted by the Stalkers, and actually, considering how small of an army that was, surprising that he made Jinro move out there. Jinro, I think, just wanting to regroup and get ready for the next one. Oh, and also, what was that?
Jinro just continuing to do drop antics at the north side, just basically keeping Socke on his feet. Socke desperately needs to keep this army together. Colossi are strong with gateway units, and gateway units are strong with Colossi. The instant you split them, they become so much weaker. So Jinro is doing everything he can to at least draw a couple of units back, and it looks like we see the plus armor upgrade going down, and there's Jinro having to load up. Very nice retreat there. Not going to lose any units like last time, and here comes a big Viking Marine Marauder force to dart up, and one of the Colossi might even fall without getting a shot off. There's the huge stim, and tons of Marines and Marauders just streaming up. One Colossi will fall in the retreat, and that gold expansion is inches from dying.
Yeah, it's going to go down with ease, and there are a ton of Marauders right here. Vikings to support as well. He'll clean up all these probes. or at least as many as he possibly can, and he may just go ahead and try to force his way into this third base at the 5 o'clock position. He'll scan to see if there is an army there. All the probes are transferring right now, and he is just going to waltz right in and try to maximize the amount of damage he can do here.
Very nice play by Jinro, just eliminating expansions one at a time, not going for the jugular quite yet, just wants to continue to wear down Socke, and there's the EMP, hits everything. The Colossi are the only units with any shields left. Huge arc by Jinro, smashing through everything. Vikings take it out, and there is Jinro's first win against Socke in a huge, huge victory right there.
That was pretty odd. Now, I have to ask this question. When Jinro said that, when was the last time he had played Socke?
I mean, even if he had played him at any time, that would have been entirely reasonable.